This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
We learned a lot about Owen's family on Vice when they had an opportunity to talk to Martha and Oj and Athena. You've name dropped them a few times here. Are you still in any communication with the family at all?
So, not Dave. No, the last time it was 2018. And this is sort of when I look back on how everything ends up being weaved together. So out of all the weeks, and, Martha, PhD, and just to, and you're wanting to end the episode. Maybe we've gone too long, but to leave it.
No. Let me. We've not gone too long. I just want to do him justice.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I've got a bunch more notes, but I don't know a better way to end it than Owen is forever. But if you've got more that you want to share and sort of open up your heart and your testimony, I'm here to listen, man.
No, again, I'll say that I've been asked about that promo on Raw the following night, and here's sort of a cool thing out of it, that Martha sent my kids a Christmas box of goodies every year for, gosh, I don't know, 10, 12 years, certainly for a while. And during that process, I became close with Martha's sister. But as time went on and she moved to the UK, but in 2018, Hall of Fame, and I go over there. And a week before I went over there, I got contacted by a gentleman who's doing a documentary on Owen. And just through that whole process, and they came and picked me up at the hotel, and I went and did I don't know, maybe a 90-minute interview session about it. But it was interesting all these years how the different ebbs and flows, I'll say, of the emotion of Owen. Yeah, you've got me so rattled, Conrad. I guess we should end this episode. I apologize.
You finished your speech on that Owen tribute episode. Owen, I make this promise to you because you got two little kids and I got a little one of my own. As they grow older, the only thing they may have to find out what their dad is like is wrestling films. But I make the promise to myself that as years go by, I'm going to do my best to let Oj and Athena really know what a great man you were, Owen.
And that is when people, obviously until the podcast and all that, but that's the sort of button on everything. I've been asked over the years, tell us the Owen Rib story, tell us this, tell us that. And knowing that interviews are taken sometimes out of context, but certainly sound bites and little pieces here and there. And I, at times, almost refuse to tell Rib stories, certainly for the first 10 or 15 years, for that fact that I said that promo, and I knew that if Jeff's going to talk about Owen, I'm not going to talk about ribs. I'm not going to talk about in-ring. I'm not going to talk about this match and that match. I'm going to spend all my time talking about the man that he was, the husband, the father, the family man, the friend, the guy that was not afraid. It's no secret that I used to like my beer, and I can remember Owen when we'd ride together, and he would give me that natural, Jeff, you're really not going to drink that beer tonight, are you? Knowing he's joking, but Owen's the kind of guy that told you and stood up for things not only he believed in, but he wanted the best for you. And I really processed through that I didn't. I may be able to. I don't know of anybody off the top of my head that would tell me, "Hey, man, maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you shouldn't do that." Owen was that guy, and that's what Oj and Athena. They lost their dad, but they'll never, ever ever, if it comes out of my mouth, knowing what kind of human being. And that is like a compass that I hope OJ and Athena this day are led by their dad's moral compass, because he had his mind right, his morals right, his integrity right. And if OJ and Athena can follow their dad's compass, they're going to be super successes in their life.
I feel bad even asking this, but before we clicked record today, you looked at the camera and you said, Conrad, don't let me forget to talk about Owen's funeral. I can edit that out if you'd rather. We can just go home. Or if you want to share whatever story that was, you said, remind me to talk about Owen's funeral.
I'll let you guys decide if you're cutting it out or whatever it may be. But no one coming to this episode, and when I got to treatment, my counselor sat me down, and he said, "Let's talk about it." And we got into the PTSD and all that kind of stuff. But he talked about the word closure. And I guess, as they say, here's a talking point. Here is a talking point that I hope somebody hears this can learn from my mistake. So we fly up, like a lot of folks, we all went to Owen's funeral. I can remember, waking up, whatever time it was. And I said, I'm going to the funeral now. And Jill had said something that we got several hours. And I said, no, I'm going to get there early. She said, for what? I said, I just want just a minute with, not knowing what I was about to walk into, but I just wanted to get there early and process it. So I got there and the funeral home wasn't even open. And the man came to the door and said, we're going to open. And then they left and they came back and said, you're here for Owen, and just connecting the dots. They said, yeah, come on in. And Jill stayed out in the car, and I went upstairs and went into the room. It was a small room with just his casket. And I just went in and said my goodbyes. And in my brain, put closure on it, that I said my goodbyes. And that's the mistake I made. I thought I said my goodbyes and closure, and that's really the last time I emotionally was connected to the situation, because went to the funeral, Colin Ray sings, get on the plane, come home, pack my bags, back out on the road. And that was stuffing of Owen Hart's relationship on a emotional level that I never processed. It was all in about a 4 or 5 day period. And then I put a lid on it. And 18 years later, a lot of all that came out. And I had my good cries and processed and thought through it and talked about it about not to OJ and Athena, but just processing all of that. And my point being is that stuffing feelings and not being transparent and candid and talking things out, there is so much healing that can be done. And if you don't do it, it's going to come out one way or another. Some people get mad. Some people have rage. Some people have anger. Some people medicate themselves. Some people go different. Anyway, it doesn't end well, and it does end. But if you sit and process it and process things and have a buddy, a friend, and that's why, Conrad, I've said it, and over the last couple of weeks, I've had different family members, even my dad. I said, the podcast is going to be different for me in so many ways. I wasn't ready. Now, I didn't intellectually think that. I wasn't ready to talk about all this. But now, in my very core, if I can tell my story and me and you have fun and kick it around and you can chat me up, and Matt Cardona, Zach Ryder can make fun of my 100% or Nick Aldis 100% or whatever you guys. So anyways, Cassie, I said like that. But at the very core of it, somebody can take something from a podcast and go, wow, I'll take that, make it my own or mold it. That's at the very top of my list where I do want to be vulnerable, because it not only helps me, I have been in a situation where it's helped others when I've heard other people share with me. So, yeah, it was, I can say this, there wasn't a topic from here out. It's all downhill, Conrad, because this is by far my toughest topic to face. I believe. Now, you may come up with something different, but processing, I can already feel better knowing that the Owen episode, and you do it so eloquently, we do it justice, very respectful. And the My World podcast, I believe, with the Owen episode, was done in a manner that I'm proud of.
That makes me happy. I didn't have the privilege of knowing him, but you did. And if you're proud of what we did today, then I am too. I hope you guys have enjoyed a different episode of My World. We're going to be laughing and carrying on and telling funny bullshit stories next week. Hit the subscribe button. It'll be a little different. But today, let's go watch some old Owen stuff. Let's think about Owen. Watch some of those funny moments and funny clips that still live forever.
I'm not a nugget.
But we will float back up to the surface next week right here on My World. And, you know, the traveling circus continues. Next night is an Owen Hart tribute, and everybody has an opportunity to work some matches and wear some armbands. And this became something I knew I wanted to talk about with you, because when I visited your home for the first time a few months ago, you've got some interesting and even a couple of oversized pieces of wrestling memorabilia. And I commented on it, and you said, man, I didn't have a thing from wrestling in my house until I got inducted in the Hall of Fame. And Karen said, Jeff, they're coming here to film. You need to have some of your career up. So she went to your storage spot and picked some things out, and you got sort of redid your man cave, if you will. But you went over to the corner and you said, this is the only thing I've had wrestling hung in my house for 20 years. And it was a picture of you and Owen, and you hung on to that armband from that tribute show. And it's just interesting to me that, you know, what was the old Lou Albano thing I said earlier? You know, all that's real is the money and the miles, but the relationships are real. The relationships are everlasting. And it made such a big impression on you that, you know, sold out shows and record paydays and title runs and WrestleMania moments, that didn't get wall space in the Jarrett household, but your tribute to Owen did. And I thought that was cool.
Candidly, I've never really looked at it that way, Conrad. And I guess if you're asking for a response, Owen was real, and work in the business is just that. It's not forever. Owen was forever.
I can't think of a better way for us to end the episode than that line.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.